So what's going on with my nomination for the Speaker of the House is a drift between Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Matt Gaetz wants to take the lead of the Trump movement in the House of Representatives, and between Matt Gaetz and the other members, they're trying to nominate Jordan instead of McCarthy. Uh, Marjorie Taylor Greene likes McCarthy because McCarthy promised her uh, the trappings of power when it comes to sitting in particular committees. And so she thinks that she's better positioned with McCarthy to be in the committees that would assign her to free the Trump political prisoners, as she calls them. So it's a drift, and if you think about it, it's a small hand of people that are fervent Trump supporters that are causing the ruckus within the Republican Party. Think about it. McCarthy had 202 votes versus Matt Gaetz propping up Jordan, which is they had 20 votes. And even Jordan doesn't want the position. But Jordan is like these people, Congresswoman Bobart and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and Jordan. These are sycophants of Trump, and they're the ones that are trying to panhandle to Trump. Uh, it's going to get real tricky when they try to cancel the Constitution on behalf of their cult fascist leader and tries to redo the Constitution in the likeness of Trump's vanity. That's going to be a hard thing to argue about on the floor. The Republicans are abusing the college electorate system in such a way that the Bill of Rights will not tolerate it. Because disenfranchise, when you try to disenfranchise 3 million people that voted on the majority on behalf of Hillary Clinton and deny her the popular will of the people, they denied her 3 million popular will majority votes that were beyond Trump's numbers of people that voted for Trump. Hillary Clinton had 3 million votes more than Trump. But these Trumpocrats, they want to defy the will of the people. And then they were trying to defy 7 million more Americans that voted for Trump beyond those people, uh, the 7 million that voted for Biden beyond voting for Trump. They wanted to disavow 7 million people, disenfranchise the good conscience of America. When we vote, our conscience with the popular voice of the people, the citizens vote. And so these Marjorie Taylor Greene ringleaders between Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're trying to figure out how to appoint self-appointed, self-anointed, hand-picked Trump delegates beyond the will of the people to impose his fascist regime on the government. Regardless if 8 million people vote more for Biden, 10 million, they act like they don't know how to count when it comes to the popular vote. They act like they don't know how to count from 1 to 2, let alone 7 million. Because remember Trump says, I need you to find 700,080 votes, one more than what I need. There's nothing wrong with recalculating. Well, I beg to differ. If you don't know how to know the difference between 1 and 7 million, it boggles the mind. Numbers don't lie, but Trump does. And so he's trying with the ringleaders of Matt Gaetz and Margie Taylor Greene are setting up the Constitution to be canceled for 2024. And they're trying to subvert votes for minority communities in this country, from minority communities, from Arab neighborhoods, from Asian neighborhoods, from African neighborhoods, from Latino neighborhoods. They have a fear complex. They call that losing touch, losing grip of the republic. They feel like they're being displaced as a conservative white base of Trump. That this country is being overrun with liberal democracy. That American Migration Department is allowing too many people from the rest of the world that are overpopulating America beyond white Americans' population. Carson Tucker called it the Great Replacement Theory. But that's why you had 3 million votes of good conscience people realizing when they voted for Hillary Clinton, they stood up against racism, bigotry, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, because that's what Trump's rallies were all about. That's why Hillary Clinton had 3 million more votes than Trump. And when it repeated itself for the 2020 elections, 7 million people stood up and voted for Biden, more than what Trump got. Biden has 7 million more votes than Trump because the will of the good conscience of American citizens realize that this is no place when America can't consider everybody equal with human unalienable rights to be considered under the Bill of Rights all equal, free of xenophobia, free of stigma, of suppression because of the ethnicity of your origins, to be considered second-tier citizens in this land that purports to be a democratic republic. And so it's dangerous when you have this Trump movement trying to annul and cancel the Constitution, and for Trump to architect a revolution that ushers in his fascist regime, autocratism under the Trump fascist banner, where he appoints his crony delegates and disavows, like Steve Bannon says, not Steve Bannon, Nick Fuentes says. Nick Fuentes said, if Trump, we need to vote for Trump, and once he's in office, we need to ban elections. In other words, to cancel any future elections and leave Trump in office for life. That's what these pigs of white supremacy base that makes up Trump's Proud Boys, Boogaloos, Oath Keepers, America First, Nick Fuentes, the KKK party, the Nazi party. They believe that Trump should be president for life. Nick Fuentes says we should vote for Trump, and once he's in there, we should make elections illegal for the future. In other words, that he's president for life. Steve Bannon said Trump is going to lose the election, but he's still going to claim he won, and then we will crown him king of the republic. Margie Taylor Greene said, if me and Steve Bannon would have planned January 6th, we would have won, and we would have been armed. And so between Matt Gaetz and Margie Taylor Greene, for selfish reasons, they're trying to tug a war and pull McCarthy back and forth. And between those ringleaders, they want to nominate Jim Jordan. Between the Matt Gaetz faction and the Margie Taylor Greene wants to She's basically by herself while Mike Gates is propping up 20 votes for Jim Jordan. But these people are dangerous. Because if you don't respect citizens to be counted for, when we decide the direction of this nation, when we decide to toss our ballots and vote, because we are all created equal as humans with unalienable rights, we don't deserve to be preyed upon because of our ethnicities and where we originate from. Like Trump with the birtherism issue with and saying these are people from shithole places. If they don't like it here, let it go back from which they came. So at the end of the day, I believe that all humans are created equal with unalienable rights. And that's the Bill of Rights. And Trump cannot void that out. As a venomous snake, he can't bite Lady Liberty and Lady Justice and cancel the Constitution with his venom. You know, Jim Crow laws were designed to gerrymander and prevent Africans from voting. Women weren't allowed to vote in this nation. But what will happen in the 21st century if 3 million popular votes get ignored like they did for Hillary? Or 7 million votes get gerrymandered because Trumpism is trying to run amok on the Republic? How far can you gerrymander the American people before it becomes a land of captivity, of pure white supremacy? That Arabs should be banned because they're Muslims. That Africans are inferior because they come from shithole places. That they don't deserve to have an African president because Trump said he was born in Kenya. Trump said about Ted Cruz in 2016, he said his mother lived in Canada, crossed over and somehow gave birth to Ted Cruz in Texas, insinuating that Ted Cruz didn't deserve to be president because of birtherism, and he happened to be an anchor baby. That's what he was insinuating when he said Ted Cruz's mother lived in Texas, in Canada, and somehow ended up in Texas, insinuating that Ted Cruz was born in Canada, not in America. But gerrymandering 7 million, displacing 7 million people, canceling the Constitution for 2024, how many votes of American citizens they want to displace? Would it be 8 million? Would it be 12 million? Would it be 15 million? Would it be 20 million? You start to see that gerrymandering minorities into submission puts us into captivity as second-tier citizens of this land. Because of one man's vanity, of his fascist grandeur of narcissism, as he descends down his golden escalators. You know, Trump reminds me of the story they used to say, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I'm better than Lincoln, better than Washington. I'm better than Martin Luther King, I'm better than Obama. That's why when Trump in the United Nations says there's never been an important president in the history of America than him, the National Assembly started bursting out and laughing. And Trump had a stupid smirk in his face, saying, really, really? Remember how Trump used to say in his rallies, they're laughing at our stupid leaders? Well, that reminds me of him looking in the mirror and saying to the world, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And in reply, his vanity shattered when the National Assembly laughed him off the United Nations floor. Because the world recognizes that Trump's xenophobia is disenfranchising the democracy of this land. So when America can't defend to believe the Bill of Rights that all humans are created equal with unalienable rights, how far is this revolution of Amendment Trump Constitution will lead this country into captivity, where xenophobia against Jewish communities, where xenophobia against Muslim faith communities, where xenophobia against African communities, where xenophobia against Latino communities. Where would it end if Trump base was allowed to put a crown on their beloved leader? Like Steve Bannon likes to insinuate, or like Nick Fuentes likes to talk about, that once Trump is voted into office, then we can cancel presidential elections forever, and he can remain president forever. These are people that are deranged and extreme alt-rights, close to the Third Reich even. It's dangerous times when we give Trump or even perceive to be assuming that he can hold public office. People like Trump should be disallowed, disavowed, and rejected from ever holding public office, because he poses a danger to the Bill of Rights. He poses a danger to the Constitution. He's posing a danger to democracy, and he's shattering a republic. And that's what you call his revolution? His mirror, mirror on the wall? Who's the fairest of them all? While the world recognizes the sins of America, Trump is the last one to know, as he gets laughed off the world stage. Let freedom ring. Sing a song, sing a freedom of songs, when everybody is created equal with unalienable rights. Let not us forsake 7 million people's Bill of Rights. Because how far do you want to take subversions of ethnic people that happen not to be Western American? Because Marjorie Taylor Greene believes that we should get in touch. She proposed a policy to say that we should only accept migrations from Western Europe. In other words, the base of Trump believes in xenophobia towards Muslim faiths. They're extreme with anti-Semitic faiths. They're extreme with Asians. They were alienating Asians while Trump was saying the Kung Fu virus. Trump supporters were assaulting elder Asians on the streets. Trump said about Japan, if they don't pay up their fair share, we'll abandon them in a time of war. Trump extorting the whole world into submission just for they can pay tribute to his coffers. It reminds me of a troll leprechaun. As he says, I'm going to keep on taking, and I'm going to take so much, my supporters are going to get tired of me taking. But that's how I'm going to make America great again. So he started extorting Canada, Germany, France, Saudi Arabia, Japan, South Korea, showing the world that America is too greedy for the love of money to recognize the integrities of alliances, because it's all about the greed, the love of the art of the deal. When you're too greedy and all you want to do is take, to the point that your supporters will get tired of you, but you have no boundaries to your greed, so you're going to keep on taking. That's what Trump was insinuating in 2015 and 2016 at his rallies, that he's going to extort in forms of tariffs. Mexico, Canada, Germany, France. He started the Brexit movement while Steve Bannon was telling fascism to rise up and to disavow the Eurozone currency and to annex themselves from the Union just for the love of greed. As Farage and Trump broke the crown in half of the Parliament of Britain. I always wondered what Farage and Trump had in common. When you talk about dividing and conquering Europe because it's all about the money, it's all about the greed, it's all about selfishness, it's all about give me, it's all about taking, to the point of gluttony, of greed, run amok, showing the world that it's for the love of greed that America comes first. Telling our allies, in the times of nuclear destruction, we would abandon you because of the love of money. You know, there's limits. There's limits. But that's why when Trump said in the United Nations, there's been no more consequential leader than me in American history. And immediately the assembly floor erupted in uncontrollable laughter. Because if you had to rank stupidness, he ranks at the top. So in my opinion, let freedom ring, sing a song, sing a freedom of songs. When in the land of democracy, the love of liberty and freedom bears the torch and shines the truth that all man and all kinds of oppression from mankind, from bigotry and xenophobia, is liberated through the Bill of Rights, and let that be the foundation of democracy. Without it, a republic cannot stand, let alone democracy shine. So as Lady Justice holds a torch of liberty, let freedom ring, sing a song, sing a freedom of songs, like the great Martin Luther King. And that the day that we all dream of being all equal and free with unalienable rights will never be mocked or desecrated by selfishness of one man's vanity. From one man's vanity and greed as he descends down his golden escalators.